Welcome to the 5 for 2 podcast with me, your host Adele, where we say no to careers where you're trading 5 days of misery for 2 days of fun. A place we discuss all things career, confidence, and money moves. I want to motivate, teach, and empower ambitious women to achieve more, earn more, feel more confident, and enjoy the work they do. It's all about believing you can have everything you want in your career and then going and getting it. So if you're ready, let's get into it. Hey, welcome to another episode, guys. This episode is going to be short and sweet, I hope, because you know me. But it's going to connect to the episode where I talked about negotiating remote or hybrid work. But what I'm going to talk about in a little bit more detail, because you guys have asked, is how can you become an asset at work? So outside of the first 90 days, which is on another episode, a lot of you have asked, like, Adele, can you go into a little bit of detail of how to be an asset? So let's begin with who do companies view as asset? And this is how I ended the remote episode, but I'm going to give you a bit more information. So how do companies view as assets? People that make them money. Simple. People who make profits. People who impact them and make them look good out in the world. So are you helping your company's reputation? Because reputation will impact their profits. If they have a good reputation, people are going to want to spend money with them. If they have a bad reputation, who's going to give them money? Are you helping them get more social media reach? Are you helping them just get more reach in general? So they're getting into other markets, they're getting visible, they're being seen so that they can increase their customer base. Companies will view you as an asset the more money you can make for them. And making money also includes saving money, because saving money means they still have more money in their pocket. So how are you positively impacting their bottom line? Revenue is key. If you lead in your mind, whenever you think about what does a company want from me, they want money. They pay you in hopes that you're going to make them way more money than they pay you. I helped one of my companies save 1.3 million in 1 year on staffing costs. Like, I reduced the staffing bill by 1.3 million. They did not pay me the 1.3 million. They paid me a fraction, a minuscule slither of that amount. But I have now, for them, I'm an asset. That same company went on to create a role for me that did not exist within the company before. But they wanted me to be able to, because they knew that I was someone who wanted to grow. Whenever we had a one-to-one conversation, they knew where I wanted to be in my career, which was in human resources, which was like heading up human resources. They helped create that role for me. In that job, 2 roles that I got were not originally there. One, they created just because they wanted to do it as part of a restructure. A second, they created specifically for me. They actually had a conversation with me and asked me how I would feel and would I want that role. And it was an amazing step for me. It gave me the title, which then helped me throughout my career afterwards. But it also gave me the exposure and the experience to director level stuff. I was about to say the other S word, but I cleaned it up today. I cleaned it up. That's who companies view as assets. Being hard to replace, you are an asset. If someone doesn't want you to leave, or they like, oh my gosh, what do we need to keep you? Or when you negotiate, it feels kind of easy, you are an asset. For those of you that do not feel like an asset yet, you can become an asset, but your mindset has to shift. You have to realize that companies care about money. Even if you work for a charity, because a lot of people say to me, oh, I work for a charity. Charities don't care about money. Yes, they do, because if they don't raise enough money, how can they be a charity? How can they go out and do charitable things? So what do they care about? Money. You know how much charities sell? Charities sell more than most people. Charities have got adverts on TV making you feel bad so that you will send them money. Charities are selling all the time. They're just not selling in the way that you're used to. You're accustomed to a salesman or a saleswoman saying to you, oh, I've got this great product. Why don't you buy it? Charities aren't selling like that. So you're thinking, oh, they don't sell. All they do is sell. They pull on your heartstrings. If they're not selling that way, they're doing fundraisers to raise money. They're always selling. They're just marketing and selling in a different way. Charities care about profits. Because the people who run the charities, do you know how much they're making? Have any of you that work for charities ever looked up when it's public, because not all companies are public, but when it's public, what salaries the boards of directors are on at charities? Because I have. And they making stupid money, some of them. That's why sometimes there's so much uproar with these charities where people are like, well, why are the board people making all this money? I want my money to be going directly to the people. That's why charities have to be more transparent now. And they're like, out of your pound, this is how much is going to charity. For my American people, out of your dollar. But out of the money I donate, this is how much reaches the people that I'm trying to help. They have to be more transparent now. Why? Because people started to find out that charities are pocketing some of the money because the people that work for the charity still have to get paid. Charities are still a money-making business. They just make money to help people. They have a more positive social impact because they're making money to help people versus, like, I don't want to say any company names, but companies that maybe make products and stuff that we don't necessarily need. Like, I'm a consumer at the end of the day. I buy stuff I don't need all the time. But, clothes, phones, laptops, like things that you don't, like the latest phone. Like, a phone is a phone, but there will be some of us who want the latest. Clothes, like changing clothes every season. Like, that's not me, but I know people that do. Buying bags for, like, I don't know, 10 grand bags, 2 grand bags. Like, I've got a friend who loves bags. She'll spend 4 grand on a bag, but she would only spend like £30 on a pair of shoes. And that's hilarious to me. But I get it. Like, I wouldn't spend a lot of money on a pair of shoes. It's just not my vibe. Like, I'm not into shoes like that. But I might spend my money elsewhere. Like, I will spend a crap load of money on a 5-star holiday. Other people will be like to me, why are you spending that much to go on holiday? Because I love it. Versus, like, they might spend their money on a night out or, like I said, on a 2, 3, 4 grand bag. Companies make money. Yeah. Some companies make money for good purposes. Some companies just make money to make money because they're profitable and people buy from them, and then that makes them more money, and then they can live the life that they want to live. Let's just be honest about it. That's what makes the world go round. That is capitalism. That's how the world is going round. So always have in the front of your mind, I'm an asset if I impact the company's bottom line, whether I do it directly or indirectly. Because some people will say to me, I'm just in customer services, so I don't really make the company money. Yes, you do. Because if people don't like the customer service team, if people don't like the way they're treated and dealt with, they will start to talk about it, especially nowadays on social media. They will run that company into the ground. And guess what? That company will then lose business. So you are directly and indirectly, you are indirectly making that company money. You do not make them, like, you're not in sales, you're not on the sales team, but you make them money. Now it's your job to explain how you're making the money. What is your reputation like in customer services? Do customers constantly ask for you? You need to position all these things as important so that you can then share them with your boss or whoever makes the decisions so that you can then negotiate. Because the point of being an asset at work is so that you give them what they want, you get back what you want in return. We are never going to get back 100% of what we want. Like, I want to earn £1 million an hour and only work 2 hours a day. That's it. It's not realistic. It might be realistic for someone. It hasn't been reality in my world, but I would love that. However, realistically, for the hours I put in at work, I want to be compensated extremely well because I think I bring a lot of value and I know how to explain the value that I'm bringing. Because that's really important. You can think you are an asset, you can think you bring a lot of value, but if you cannot communicate it, guess what? When we can't communicate our value, someone else tells us what our value is. So your boss might actually know that you're an asset, but will downplay it because then they don't have to give you anything that you want. I want a return on my investment. My investment is my time and my energy and my hard work, my work ethic, my skills, my time, my energy. That's what I'm giving to a job. In return, you have to think about what do you want, but you have to clearly be able to explain it. Like I said, if you can't explain why you're an asset or what you bring to the table, someone else will tell you and they will downplay it so they don't have to give you as much back in return. They will say to you, oh yeah, no, you're good at this, but you could be better at this. When you know full well you are A star, A plus. You are A1 at your job. But are you visible? Being an asset also means, are you visible? Do people like you? Go back to listen to the likability episode. Do people like you? Are you visible to the right people, to the decision makers? Or are you just visible to your colleagues and your peers? Does the boss and the boss's boss know what you've done recently? Are you letting other people take credit for all your work? And even if you are letting other people take credit for your work, like I had a boss once who took credit for everything I did. Guess what I told her? She's going to have to pay me more if she's going to keep taking credit for my work. And I didn't say it like that, guys. We have to be professional. But I was like, listen, I know that like the last 3 projects that I put through have got really good responses outside from the senior bosses. And I have so many other ideas I want to contribute. However, I'm looking for more money at this point because I do feel like I'm supporting with high level campaigns. Done, done, and done. Had the conversation. Basically, I'm letting you know in the most professional way, if you want me to keep making you look good, you're going to have to make my salary look good. The money I asked for, she said to me, it was way too much. She said to me, I was too close to her salary. I said, I'm not going to be able to keep doing what I'm doing unless I'm able to make that money because I know the impact I'm having at the other end. She was not best pleased. She wasn't. I'm not going to lie to you. I started looking for a new job once I had this negotiation, but I got what I want while I was there. Because you guys know I tell you all the time, get what you can where you are while maybe you're ready to look for something else. You can be looking for something else and still be negotiating at your current job. That's not an issue. But like I said, if someone's taking credit for your job, make sure you're getting paid for it. But I would rather that I get credit for my job. So I would often, if I'm speaking to someone more in the senior team, like, oh yeah, I'm currently working on this. I'll have it to blah, blah, blah at the end of the week. So she'll probably show it to you. Because I want them to know that it's my work. If people ask me questions, I want to share my ideas. Why? Because I want you to know that it was me. I did the work. I'm making the impact. I'm really good at what I do. When I have one-to-one meetings, I'm reminding you of all the things I've done because why? You keep a note of them. As an asset, make sure you're keeping a note of all your asset-giving qualities. All the value adds that you've brought to the company because you will forget when time for one-to-one comes. You will forget when time for salary negotiation comes. Write them down. Keep a list. Keep a little book. Keep Post-its. Whatever. Listen, if you're like me and you lose Post-its, don't keep Post-its. But keep a list somewhere that you know you're going to keep them. Keep it on your computer. It doesn't have to be a hard copy. Keep it on your computer. Save it. Write it up. Email it to yourself. Like, have it written down somewhere where it shows, firstly, to remind yourself why you're an asset, but secondly, so you can have the right conversations with the right people so that you can use the fact that you are an asset to your advantage. It is pointless being an asset and still not having the titles that you want, the money that you want. Like, people negotiate job titles. That was something I've done, something my clients have done. You want a better job title. I know someone who, when I was working with her, the offer she got wasn't exactly the money she wanted, but she knew that there was a specific title, it was a director level title that she wanted. And she knew if she got that title where she was, then when she left, the sky's the limit. She would have been able to make crazy money anywhere else. So that's what she did. They offered her, I think she wanted 57K and they offered her like 51. No, 49. And she wanted 57. And she ended up negotiating that up to 51. And then also negotiating the title. Because the title she was being given was like head of. She was like, no, I want a director title. And they gave it to her. She stayed at that job for 2 years. After that, she's been able to do just unimaginable things. Things that before those 2 years having that title, she never thought would be possible. There are always negotiables and adaptable negotiables and things that will help you. But you can only do these things when you are an asset. You can only do these things when you are an in-demand worker. Everyone is not in demand because some people go to work and do the bare minimum, do the average. That's fine. That's always going to be harder for you to make the big jumps, the 20K pay rises, the 30K. An asset will always have more options. When they're looking at restructuring departments, an asset will always have more options. They will look at assets and say, where else can we put this person? Could this person go to another department? Could this person interview elsewhere so that we can keep them in the business? They will have those conversations with you. When you're not, quickly out the door. I'm not saying that as an asset, you will never be laid off or made redundant because that's not the truth. But I'm saying that people will bend over backwards to help you. I've been like made redundant or I've been told by a company that we're not going to be able to use you anymore. But then them say, I wanted to help you because I know someone who does this and that and I think you'd be really good. And they've helped me. I've helped my own staff. I've got staff who I've helped them write their CVs way before I was a coach. Years and years before I was a coach. I've helped them look at other jobs. I've spoken to people I knew in the industry to get them roles. I literally helped one of my staff who I thought would be better suited to a different type of role because she was good, but she just didn't suit the role I had. I spoke to one of my friends who works at a different company. I pitched her to that company and then she ended up getting an interview. She got the job and ended up being there for 5 years. Why did I help her? She was an asset to me. She helped me loads where I was and I saw potential for her to do more and do something else that I didn't have where I was. This is the difference between being an asset in your career and not. Not everyone can relate to this and not everyone will get to this point, but you can position yourself for this if you always lead with profit. And no one wants to always be thinking about, oh, the company's only using me to make money. No one wants to think about that, but that's the reality. We don't live in what we think should be. We live in what actually is. And what actually is companies care about profit. Most companies care about profit over people. That's a whole different conversation, but they do. Your companies don't care about you. If something happened to you tomorrow, they will replace you in a heartbeat. If someone passes away, they say, oh my gosh, it's really sad. They send a card, they send a wreath, and then they replace you. No one mourns you like in your family for months and years. No, they replace you. If you're off sick for too long, it doesn't matter how much they like you, they will replace you. They will find a way to manage you out. Why? Because you're losing their money. They need to be making money. So an asset is someone who makes a company money. An asset is someone who upskills a team. An asset is someone who increases customer base, retains customers, drives business, drives sales. An asset is someone who, like I said, reputation, improves the company reputation, improves the company reach. I can't even speak. Improves the company reach, like how far and how much people they know and how much visibility they have. Why do you think companies have brand ambassadors? Because they want more people to know about them. And those people are doing the legwork. And if you're a good brand ambassador or an affiliate, the more you do, the more you make. This is what companies prioritize. How are you making us look good out in the world? That is impacting their bottom line. So that is what makes you an asset. Once you understand that you're an asset, your next duty is to figure out, how do I communicate that I am an asset? How do I get people to see me as an asset? And that's by making sure you're in front of the right people. The decision makers know everything you can do. You keep a record of everything you can do so you can bring it to meetings. You can bring it to one-to-ones. You can bring it to appraisals so that you can start getting a return on your investment. Again, your investment is what you put into your job. The return is what they give you back. Is it an even exchange? A lot of us are overworked and underpaid. That's not an even exchange. If I'm overworked, I'm going to be overpaid, I promise you. We should be getting back what we're putting in. Otherwise, you just become resentful. And a lot of people are resentful because they haven't necessarily positioned themselves as an asset. They might be doing all the work, all the things, making the company all the money. Nobody knows about it. Or people know about it and they pretend they don't. Like I said, your company will play it down. If you're not asking for something in return, your company's not offering. They're saving their budget. They're saving the money because guess why? They care about revenue. It all comes back to profit. If they don't pay you as much as they could or should, that money stays in their pocket. Again, being an asset will help you negotiate. Things like negotiating become so much easier. You'll be more successful at positioning yourself for the best opportunities. People, when you're an asset, people are talking about you in rooms that you are not in. They're having conversations about, oh, you know, Louise in blah, blah. She's really good. This upcoming opportunity might be worth having a conversation with her, seeing if she wants to interview for it. See if she wants to go for it before we go outside and look for some outside talent. That's what makes you an asset. So go and do some inventory on your career. Are you an asset? What do you bring to the table? How much money have you made your company in the last year? Or how much money has your department made in the last year and how much have you contributed to that? What is your impact within your company in terms of them being successful? Companies do not want to lose assets. Another thing before I go that makes you an asset, a vital asset to a company, is when you make your boss's life easier or your boss's life easier. When your boss can come in and they feel like you've got everything done, you use a lot of initiative. So when I say that, what I mean is you don't go to them with problems, you go to them with solutions. You say, listen, just a heads up, this is what happened, but I've done this. Is there anything else you'd want me to do? Oh, you've helped them. You've eliminated some of the steps that they would have had to do. They don't want to lose you. They do not ever want to lose people like that. Take that from someone who's been in HR and recruitment for years. Take that from someone who's been a leader and a director. I love when my staff are like, Adele, this happened, but this is what I did. And I just got to come in and be like, thanks. And all I've got to do is file that information because they've done everything they needed to do. And some of you will be screaming at whatever you're listening to this on, whether it's a laptop, phone, whatever, and be saying, yeah, but Adele, why should I do a role that's not mine? Because that makes you an asset and that makes you be able to get more money. Simple as that. When you make your boss's life easier, they'll make your pockets easier. Or you'll be able to negotiate things like annual leave or things that you want, just like I've spoken about before. Being an asset is key in this job market more than any other job market. This job market is volatile. We don't know whether we're coming or going. It's the Wild West. We don't know whether we're keeping our jobs, we're not keeping our jobs. It's chaos. But what I do know is the people that are assets, the people that understand how to talk about what they can do in their job in terms of results, are the people that land new jobs faster and are the people that within their network wants to help them. They're also the people that are probably the last on the chopping block when it comes to restructures. Apart from obviously when your company is being bought out, because that's a very different story. But again, there is no such thing as being irreplaceable. But being an asset makes you harder to replace and makes people want to help you when they have no choice but to replace you. So I hope that's answered some of you that were asking, like, how do I become an asset? How do I know if I am an asset? I hope that has helped, because that's the answer to your question. Think about being an asset in terms of how do you make your company money. Again, whether that's direct or indirect, doesn't matter. We all have been employed to make our companies money in some way or another. And if you're in an industry where you don't make money, you have still been employed to improve a service. If you're in the NHS, if you're in teaching, you have been employed to improve a service or keep a service at the highest level. Why? Because then more people want to use that service, more people will praise that service. That is the currency of your job. Every job has a currency. You impact that currency. What is your impact? As always, I hope this has helped someone. If you know anyone that should be listening that isn't, share with them, and I will speak to you on the next episode. I hope this episode gave you exactly what you needed and motivated you to confidently take steps towards your next career move. If you enjoyed it, screenshot and share it on your socials, tag me on Instagram, and come join my community of amazing women working on leveling up their confidence and career. Thanks for listening, and see you next time.